a little bit about your character, Crystal.
Crystal is not the only female baller, but she's like top notch female baller. She's a powerhouse. She's super strong. She knows what she wants. She knows that she loves basketball, and that's something she wants to be a part of her life. And she's unstoppable, pretty much.
What made you interested in this role?
I had a conversation with Reggie Bythewood, writer, creator of Swagger, producer. He does everything. But I had a talk with him around the time I was auditioning for Crystal, and he pretty much just broke down who Crystal was, what Swagger was about, and I immediately fell in love with it. He was extremely passionate about it, and it was almost like contagious. And I just wanted to be in it. He was just talking to me, and I was like, "Oh yes, I want to do this." Yeah.
How would you say that you're similar to Crystal, and how are you different?
I would have to say me and her are both resilient. We don't really stop. Like there's things that come in our way, but that never puts us at like a halt. It may put us at kind of like a little pit stop, but we keep going from there. I think the difference would be our sports. I play volleyball, she plays basketball. But then again, that's pretty similar because we're both athletes. But yeah, that's kind of different. I think we're pretty similar. She's a little bit more swaggier than me, though. Maybe that's a difference.
How was it like to basically learn basketball? And I also read that you guys were actually playing the game, that none of this were any stunt doubles or other players going in. How was it like to go from volleyball to transitioning to basketball and having to play at such a high level?
I mean, it was kind of challenging because, sorry, that's my cat. It was kind of challenging, but at the same time, I like sports. One of my brothers is overseas, and my other brother, he played basketball all the way up until like high school. So I definitely had them my whole life, playing with them and bothering them while they were playing basketball. So I knew the sport, I knew the game, but my body was like, "What are you doing? We do not play this sport. This is not our thing." But I definitely took the challenge and dedicated a lot of time to training and just once again being resilient. Like there were times I was like, "I don't know if I can do this. I don't know, this is kind of hard," but I kept going, and it became easier because I had a great trainer, Reggie Wallis, and he just kept pushing me, and I just kept going, never stopping.
What would you say is the hardest part about basketball?
It would have to be your like reactions. Like basketball is all about reacting, and like the question before this, like it was all real. Like we even had like free play where after we did the play that we learned, we would go back down the court and do free play. And so it was challenging to know like when to jump, when to move, when to dribble, which way to dribble, which way to shoot, like how to shoot, like all this stuff. It was just all about your reaction, and I was not good at that basketball wise because I had just learned. So like I had Reggie Wallace, he would always be calling me Crystal, and it would motivate me to be Crystal. But Quvenzhané could not do it. If Quvenzhané was out there, Quvenzhané could not do a damn thing.
Well, how do you get yourself prepared to play volleyball, and get your head in the game? And was that the same approach as getting your head in the game for basketball?
I mean, it was kind of similar, but different because when I play volleyball, it's me. I'm known to be method, like when I act, I'm very method. So when I was playing Crystal, anytime I was at practice or training, or especially when we had a scene on set and I was playing basketball, I wasn't Quvenzhané. Like, as soon as I got in the uniform, it was Crystal. Like, everybody knew to call me Crystal when they saw me on set. And I rarely ever answered to Quvenzhané. It might take me a second to remember. But for me, with volleyball and basketball, it's the same mentality of staying focused and being in the sport and being like aware of your surroundings. But it was kind of different because in basketball I was playing Crystal and being Crystal, and volleyball I'm me.
Yeah. Is there any song that really like hypes you up and gets you ready for a game?
There's there's not really a song. My brother has this fire playlist and I always tell him to let me use it. So it's really just my brother's playlist that I really would listen to before going out and playing basketball, because we also did warm-ups before, basketball scenes. So I would keep my AirPod in if I could and listen to my brother's playlist. But there was never just like one song. But my brother, he's overseas, so he listens to that playlist when he's playing basketball.
Oh,
So I was
nice.
like,
What artists are on the playlist?
he has a whole bunch of different people on there. He has like Lil Durk on there. He has a whole bunch of stuff. Any and everyone.
Well, it was definitely nice for you to have that connection with your brother and a connection to someone who actively plays basketball. So that's cool. What would you say? Because we know Crystal also is going through a lot within the game of basketball with her coach. Like, how did you prepare yourself to deal with such a heavy topic?
I had a lot of people helping me develop Crystal, especially in that sense with her coach. I had a lot of people help me do a lot of research. And I had an acting coach on set who, Michelle, she helped me a lot with making everything very real and authentic. So I definitely took a lot of time, just as I did with basketball. I took a lot of time to research and train and like crying and stuff. Like I took a lot of time with like, because I'm super happy go lucky. So it's hard for me to have those moments, especially on set with everybody kind of watching me. But Michelle, she helped a lot with building that emotional and like mental strength to be able to do those type of scenes and connect with the character like that.
Yeah. Why do you think, because in the beginning, Crystal, she doesn't exactly know that something is quote unquote wrong, but she knows that it feels wrong to her. And she's trying to explain it to people. And it's not that they don't believe her or brush her off, but they kind of aren't as willing for her to be open. Do you think it was kind of the mindset of an athlete and just coaches are going to be tough on you, and especially after she had that injury? Or like, why do you think it was so hard for her to open up to people and for people to really go like, okay, Crystal, she wouldn't be mad if her coach was hard on her, something else is going on?
I think when I was developing that, like when we were doing the first couple of episodes, and I was working with everyone on set, like Reggie Bythewood, my acting coach, Michelle, all that stuff. We definitely looked at it as everyone knows Crystal as being strong and being able to take the hard on. She was known for being kind of not like a talk back, like, but she was known for being strong and known for holding her own ground. So when she would come to someone about her problems, they wouldn't exactly think, oh, something's wrong. They would just be like, you're used to this. Like, you're used to, the hard coaching and stuff like that. But also, Crystal didn't know exactly what it was she was feeling because she was still going through it. So she was trying to figure out what it was at the same time as going through it. And so when she tried to talk to someone, she didn't know exactly how to put it into words. If you watch, I've spent a lot of time on kind of showing that face of like, I don't know what I'm about to say next, but I'm trying, like, I'm trying to figure it out. And I spent a lot of time, and, Reggie and Michelle, we all spent a lot of time making sure that looked right, and real. But yeah, it's definitely people because people see Crystal, like I described her, as super strong and powerful, this powerhouse. And then, her mom, her best friend, they all see her that way. So it's definitely hard on both sides. Crystal can't even believe it herself. Like, I mean, maybe something's not wrong, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just tripping. But yeah, I definitely think it comes from both sides of the fence.
Yeah, for sure. For the show, it is a lot about everyone's facial expressions, especially since when you are an athlete, you kind of don't want to show that weakness. But I feel like Reggie, as you were saying, and all the other actors and yourself, where it was always important to catch those moments where like they kind of broke down their barriers a bit. Yeah. And how, like, you've done a lot of movies and you were also on Blackish. How, and now you've had a full-time role on a TV show. How is it different shooting TV than it is shooting movies?
It's not really different. The only difference, I guess, it would have to be the time you spend with the cast. With TV shows, you're kind of committed for a long time to be with this cast, and you really build a strong family, like a strong family foundation. And it's pretty much the same for movies. Like, there's people from Annie that I still, like the girls, like we still keep in contact. That's still a strong family. But it's a little different when it's just a couple of months versus spending years committed to this one show with this one family. It's a little different, but family is family, and when you have certain projects, being with people for so long, you kind of build connections. But that's pretty much the only thing. Like, filming and stuff is pretty much the same, and call time and crafty, all that is still pretty much the same, but it's just the time is different.
And how was it like shooting during COVID? Well, COVID's still going on, but having to transition into those types of different rules and regulations.
Apple made it a lot easier for us. They made it not as difficult. We still had the masks, we still had tests and stuff like that. But I mean, we worked around it. Not around it, but we worked through it. We worked through it, and we had a time where we had to kind of like take breaks and stuff like that. Not COVID cases related, but just like when it all happened, we had to take a break and figure everything out, and people were rewriting scripts and stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely a weird time, but we came together, like I said, family. Like, we were texting each other, making sure everybody's good. We're helping each other out, making sure everybody's safe and okay and healthy. And Apple worked with us as well to make sure everybody was safe and healthy. And like my mom was just trying to say, we had bubbles and stuff, so there wasn't really, it wasn't really that hard. It was pretty easy, and they made it pretty easy for us as well.
That's great. And what would you hope to see in season 2 for the show and the characters without giving too much away for the others?
Telling everybody on set, Crystal is going to be dunking in season 2. I don't care what anyone says. I'm about to play volleyball again, so my jumps are gonna be so much higher. Crystal is definitely gonna be dunking in season 2. Y'all got, if we get a season 2, Crystal's gonna be dunking on Jace. I promise you.
So she's gonna finally get those skills. Maybe we can get
that's all I want. That's all I want. All I want is for Crystal to dunk, and especially before, like, okay, so the boys and I, like all of my castmates, we are all trying to dunk. We have like this little group chat, and one of the boys is dunking now, and I'm like, no, they can't be dunking before me. Like, we're so competitive about it. Like, we are really about like dunking. Like, we have to be able to dunk on each other.
Yeah. And because in the show they turn into Swagger DMV and they make their own name. If you could have it could be a volleyball name too. If you could name a team, what would be the name of your volleyball or your basketball team?
I don't know. Give me a minute. I don't know. But okay, let me say this. I think we're gonna do a lineup. This is my lineup. I think we're gonna have three coaches. Me, my mom, and my sister. We all love volleyball. So in regards to that, I don't know a name, but it definitely has to do with a like a Q because we all have like Q as like the first letter of our name. So maybe like Queens or like I don't know, something that starts with a Q, but I do not know, or like Quality Queens. Oh, that's kind of
Oh,
fire.
yeah, I like that.
Like, like
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know. I'm just
yeah.
coming up.
And so what else do you have coming up in the pipeline? So are you still in high school?
Um, kind of. I'm like finishing up high school.
Okay. And so do you have any other shows or movies or books coming up soon that you're thinking of working on?
Not right now. I've been kind of auditioning and all that stuff, and just like I told you before, volleyball. I'm not auditioning. I'm trying out for this volleyball team soon, so it's like kind of getting back into being active. Um, but in school, that too. So it's just a lot of different normal stuff and you know career stuff, but my life is always a mix of both. It's never just all career and it's never just all normal, but it's okay. I like it that way.
Yeah, yeah, you've been doing it for the majority of your life at this point, so
Yes, definitely.
that's good. Well, thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to me, and I hope to talk to you again in the future. And best of luck with finishing up high school and getting on that volleyball team.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks again. And you guys have a good one. Thank you.
You too.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.